first time I saw him, the moon was half full, hanging low over the black hollow. A man stood at the crossroads, head low, fingers trembling as he gripped the handle of an old hunting knife. His clothes were torn, caked in mud, and something darker. His eyes caught mine, wild and desperate. "Turn back," he rasped. "Get out of here before it's too late." I should have listened. The people in the village whispered about him. Gideon Holt, a man cursed by the devil himself. They said he was bitten deep in the woods, that he woke up covered in blood with no memory of what he'd done. The stories varied. Some said it was a wolf, others claimed it was a creature of mist and shadow. Whatever it was, it left a mark on his soul. I didn't believe in curses. That was before the screaming started. The night of the full moon, I stayed in the hollow, my rifle loaded with silver rounds. The town called me a fool, said I'd never live to see morning. But curiosity had its claws in me, deep. Midnight struck. A low growl rumbled through the trees, then a howl. It wasn't the call of any wolf I'd ever heard. It was deeper, raw with agony and hunger. I turned towards the sound and saw movement in the underbrush. A shape unfolded from the darkness, towering, misshapen. Clawed fingers dragged across the bark of an ancient oak, splintering the wood like paper. Eyes like burning embers locked onto me. It was Gideon, or what was left of him. The transformation had twisted him into something barely human. Thick fur bristled along his arms, his snout lined with jagged teeth. His breath steamed in the cold air, carrying the scent of iron. "Gideon," I whispered, stepping back. He lunged. I fired. The bullet grazed his shoulder, but it barely slowed him. He howled, the sound shaking the trees. Then he was on me, claws slicing, jaws snapping. I barely managed to roll away, my back slamming against a fallen log. My rifle was gone, lost somewhere in the dirt. A massive hand wrapped around my throat, pinning me down. I saw recognition in his eyes, something human still trapped within the beast.
"You need to run,"
he growled, his voice twisted and monstrous. And then the change began. The bones shifted first, crackling and reshaping. Fur receded. The monstrous snout shrank, replaced by a human face covered in agony. In moments, Gideon lay gasping before me, shivering, eyes wet with pain. "I can't stop it," he whispered. "It's never over." His fingers clawed at the dirt, blood dripped from fresh wounds, and then I felt it, a burning sensation in my shoulder where his claws had raked my skin. My breath hitched, the world seemed sharper, my heartbeat pounding like a war drum. The moon above was blinding, calling to something deep inside me. Gideon's eyes darkened. "I'm sorry," he murmured. The curse had found its new host, and the next full moon, it would be my turn to howl. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, or if it's the first time here, welcome to the channel. My name is Stone Rock, and today we're talking about the Wolfman. I feel like that's probably self-explanatory by the story, but we're going to talk about Universal's Wolfman movie, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. This was a fun one to write a story for. I think I like the Wolfman more than Dracula, honestly, but that's because Dracula's kind of played out, right? It's hard to make a really good Wolfman story. I feel like it's easier to do vampires. Vampires are more widely known, in my opinion. But anyways, if you like what we do here, like the video, subscribe to the page. We're always doing stories and stuff like this. This is really what I do. I try to stay out of the drama stuff unless something comes to me that needs my attention. But anyways, like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the story, and we're gonna get into it. A man walks through the fog-drenched woods, the full moon casting eerie shadows on the ground. His breath comes in ragged grasps, his hands trembling as sweat beads on his forehead. He knows what's coming. He feels it. The tingling in his skin, the ache in his bones, the overwhelming rush of something primal clawing its way out. He falls to his knees, a strangled...
You could...
He falls to his knees, a strangled cry escaping his lips. Then, the change begins. Hair erupts from flesh, his fingers twist, elongating into claws. His jaw stretches, teeth growing into fangs. His eyes, once full of fear, now burn with an unnatural hunger. And then, with one final scream, that turns into a monster's howl. The transformation is complete. This is the Wolfman, a horror icon, a cinema legend, and a film that forever defined how we look at the werewolf. But how did this movie come to be? Why did Universal Pictures decide to bring this monster to life, and how did it change werewolf mythology forever? Let's take a deep dive into the origins of the Wolfman, the legends that inspired it, its impact on horror, and how the werewolf continued to evolve in modern cinema. By the late 1930s, Universal Studios was the undisputed king of horror. They had given the world Dracula in 1931, Frankenstein in 1931, The Mummy in 1932, and The Invisible Man in 1933. Films that defined the genre and turned actors like Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff into household names. In 1935, Universal attempted a werewolf movie called Werewolf of London, starring Henry Hall. It flopped. Audiences didn't connect with the story, and the werewolf makeup was too subtle. Universal learned a crucial lesson. A werewolf should look monstrous, tragic, and terrifying. Universal's head of horror, Kurt Siodmak, was tasked with writing a new werewolf script, one that would give the monsters the same legendary status as Dracula and Frankenstein. He took inspiration from European werewolf myths, but invented most of what we would consider classic werewolf rules today. He created the full moon transformation, the silver bullet weakness, and the idea that werewolfism was a curse and not a choice. Universal chose Lon Chaney Jr. for the lead role of Larry Talbot. Chaney's father, Lon Chaney Sr., was a horror legend, famous for Phantom of the Opera in 1925. The Wolfman was Chaney Jr.'s breakout role, turning him into Universal's new horror star. One of the most famous aspects of the film was the pioneering special effects, designed by makeup artist Jack Pierce. Chaney sat for 6 hours as layers of yak hair were glued to his face, one strand at a time. The transformation scene used stop-motion photography, slowly layering the Wolfman makeup over multiple shots. The process took 21 hours to complete, but the results was groundbreaking for 1941.
It makes me uncomfortable.
One of the film's most lasting contributions to werewolf mythology was the eerie poem, which has since become a staple in werewolf lore. Every man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. This wasn't from real folklore. It was written entirely for the movie, but it felt so authentic that many believed it had ancient origins. When The Wolfman hit theaters in 1941, audiences were terrified and fascinated. Unlike Dracula or Frankenstein, the werewolf was a cursed monster, a tragic figure forced to kill against its will. The film was a box office hit, solidifying Universal's werewolf as a horror staple. Lon Chaney Jr. became synonymous with the role, returning for multiple sequels. The Wolfman defied how we see werewolves today, creating many of the modern werewolf tropes. Because of the Universal's film, the rules of the Wolfman became standard in movies, books, and TV. Werewolves transform under a full moon. Silver is the only thing that can kill them. Werewolves are tragic figures, not just monsters. Being bitten by a werewolf passes on the curse. These weren't part of the traditional folklore. They were all invented by Universal and had since become permanent werewolf lore. Before this movie came out, you could kill werewolves similar to vampires, stake through the heart, catching them on fire, decapitation, stuff like that. So this movie really took it and changed all the lore. While Universal created the Hollywood werewolf, the idea of men turning into wolves is thousands of years old. The first werewolf story was King Lycan from ancient Greece. In Greek mythology, King Lycan angered Zeus by serving him human flesh. Zeus punished him by turning him into a wolf. And this is where we get the term lycanthropy, the belief that someone can turn into a werewolf. During the Middle Ages, werewolves became symbols of sin, witchcraft, and the devil. In the 1500s, people were executed for being werewolves, much like the witch trials. The Werewolf of Bedburg in 1589. Peter Stump, a German farmer, confessed under torture that he had a magic belt that could turn him into a wolf. The Beast of Jebudan from 1764 to 1767. We have a video on that. I will link it down below if anybody wants to go check that out. Over 100 people were killed by a mysterious wolf-like beast in France. These real-life cases fueled werewolf hysteria and made people genuinely believe in the curse. After The Wolfman, werewolves became a horror mainstay. Key werewolf films that followed were The Howling from 1981, which introduced groundbreaking animatronic transformations. American Werewolf in London in 1981 revolutionized practical effects with Oscar-winning transformations. Underworld in 2003, which brought werewolves into horror action, creating a war between vampires and werewolves. Also to mention would be American Werewolf in Paris, which is the sequel to American Werewolf in London. Dog Soldiers is another one which is pretty good. The werewolf remains one of the most enduring horror monsters because it taps into something primal. The fear that we too might lose control and become something monstrous. And with every full moon, the fear howls in the darkness, waiting for its next victim. So that's it, guys. That's it for the video. If you liked it, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below what you think of werewolves. Mention any other werewolf movies that you think that you like, and we'll look into it. I think next we're going to look at the Invisible Man and go over that. The Mummy is on the list. Dracula is also on the list. I know I had mentioned I was thinking about maybe doing limited merch for this series. I looked into it. As long as they are public domain, like Dracula, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, stuff like that, as long as they're open domain, I can use them. The Wolfman is technically owned by Universal. The Werewolf is not. That's just public domain. So I can just make another generic werewolf t-shirt if I want to. Maybe I could turn Wolfman into a name, like Gary Wolfman, right? That might be a thing we could do. I know I already have Harvey Goatman, so maybe Gary Wolfman, and then we'll just name them. We'll just name all the movie monsters just to be safe about everything. But yeah, I'm gonna look at designs for that kind of stuff tonight, and I will probably update the YouTube channel once I start getting all that stuff rolling. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I will catch you guys next time.